Welcome everyone. We have started with a new topic, that is enzymes. In the previous class we have seen the definition for enzyme, we have seen the discovery of enzyme and what role enzymes, what is the role of enzyme in enhancement of rate of reaction. What is the role of enzymes basically? So here what are enzymes? Enzymes are basically biocatalysts which can alter the rate of reaction. It can increase the rate of reaction or it can decrease the rate of reaction. So the term enzyme was given by the scientist Kuhner. Okay, the word enzyme means in yeast. So we have isolated it from the yeast. Who isolated it? Edward Buckner was the scientist who isolated it from the yeast and gave the name to the substance as enzymase complex. Later on Kuhner gave the term for that substance zymase complex as enzyme, as it was isolated from the yeast. Okay. So how enzymes help in the enhancement of rate of reaction? By lowering the activation energy. So what will enzyme do? It will lower the activation energy. When it lowers the activation energy, the rate of reaction is increased and the productivity will also be increased. So this is how enzyme, that is basic, enzyme helps in the enhancement of rate of reaction. Now here in this class we will see the mechanism of enzyme action. On what mechanism, on what mode, on what basis here these enzymes act. So mechanism of enzyme action. So we have two types of enzyme, that is action, mechanism of enzyme action. The first one is the lock and key mechanism and the second one is induced fit mechanism. There are two mechanisms based on which the enzyme works. There are two mechanisms based on which the enzyme works. Okay. The first mechanism is lock and key mechanism and the second mechanism is induced fit mechanism. So this one, coming to this, the first one, that is the lock and key mechanism. This lock and key mechanism was discovered by the scientist Fischer. Lock and key mechanism was discovered by the scientist Fischer. So in this now we have, for this reaction substrates will be there, enzyme. First we will draw the structure for the enzyme. Let us draw this. Enzyme is having the structure. So this is the structure for enzyme. Okay. We require enzyme and we require substrates. We require substrates for the reaction. For any reaction we require substrate. Okay. Substrates are there and enzyme is there. So when these substrates come together and fit in the enzyme complex, enzyme substrate complex will be formed and we get the product. So here these are the substrates which helps in forming of products. What are these? These two are the substrates. Substrate molecules. These are the substrate molecules which helps in the formation. These substrates will change into products. These are the substrate molecules which are going to take part in the reaction and change into products. These will react, that is take part in the reaction and will change into products with the help of the enzyme. They will change, these substrates will change into product with the help of the enzyme. So how the enzyme will help these how the enzyme will help these substrates to change into product. To change into, these substrates will later on change into products. So how the substrates will change into product? With the help of enzyme. So the basic mechanism of how enzyme works. What will happen is, so here this is the structure of enzyme. I won't draw this like this much broad. Okay, a little nearer. This is the structure of enzyme. This is the structure of enzyme. So what happens? So these substrate molecules will come and bind on the sites, these are the active sites in the enzymes. Before I draw this, let me tell you, this is the structure of enzyme and this is the site. This is the site where these substrates are going to come and bind. This is the structure of enzyme, these are the substrates, these are the active sites in the enzymes. Okay, so these substrates will come here in the active sites of the enzyme and binds with the enzyme. So here what happens is, this is the enzyme with active sites, the substrates come and bind here, the substrates come and bind here. If this is the see here, two active sites are there, two sites are there. So the substrates are coming and binding on the site. Okay, as soon as the substrates comes and binds on the site, now here the substrates have come very closer to each other. The substrate were far away. Okay, so now the substrates came closer to each other. So here when they come close to each other, now a bond will be formed between these two substrates. A bond will be formed between these two substrates, and what we get is this one. What we get is this one. So now earlier they were separate, they were far away. Now when they fit into this active site of the enzyme, they came very close to each other and a bond is formed between these two substrates. They are joined together by a bond. So this is called as enzyme substrate complex. Enzyme substrate complex. So when we say this one, so what happens? Substrates, they bind with enzyme and form enzyme substrate complex, which is a transition state, and after which, as soon as this complex is formed, so here the product and enzymes will detach from each other. As soon as the product is formed, that is enzyme substrate complex is formed, this complex will not be like this. Enzyme will not be attached to this product. It has to be removed. The enzyme has to be removed from the product. So what happens when substrates comes and binds with the enzyme? It produces an enzyme substrate complex. So after which what happens? The enzyme has to leave the complex, thereby we get the product. So here enzyme and the product will get detached from each other. So enzyme will be separated and we get the product. So here also substrate will bind with the enzyme. So these are the substrates, they have binded with this enzyme. These are the substrates which have binded with the enzymes. Okay, they have come and binded itself in the active sites of the enzyme. So when they have come closer to each other, a bond is formed between these two substrates. So these two, this one is called as what? Enzyme substrate complex. This is called as enzyme substrate complex. So now this will be, it was here in the enzyme itself now. So now as soon as this complex is formed, ye enzyme will move away. That is what we get is the, so now enzyme will be removed and what we get is this one, enzyme substrate complex. Enzyme substrates separated, now they came and attached with the enzyme, form this enzyme substrate complex, as soon as this complex is formed. So here this complex and this enzyme will get separated. So here the enzyme is separated and we get this complex. So this is the product, This is the product, separated product, enzyme has been separated. So what happens is the substrate comes and binds itself to the enzyme. So how lock will fit, that is key will fit into the lock. The name it is that lock and key mechanism. So how key will fit into the lock. So in the similar manner the substrates will fix into or attaches itself into the active sites on the enzyme. How key fixes in the lock, how key goes inside, fixes inside the lock. In the similar manner the substrates also go and attach themselves or fix themselves in the active site. Active site. If I has to insert the key, there will be hole on the lock. If in that hole only I can fit the key. I cannot fit the key anywhere on the lock. Only I can fit the key in the hole which is provided on the lock. So in the similar manner these substrates will not fix here and there. These substrates will fix into the active sites which are present on the enzyme. Okay, active sites which are present on the enzyme. So here like key they go and fix in the lock. Lock is the enzyme, key is the substrates here. Okay, now we don't have the same key for each and every lock. For each lock a specific key is there and for each enzyme a specific substrate is there. Okay, for each enzyme a specific substrate is there. This substrate will go and fix with enzyme 1 only. It does not go and fix with enzyme 2. This substrate is specific only for enzyme 1. It cannot go to enzyme 2 and fix it. So as the key is unique to a lock, so in the similar manner the substrates are also unique to the enzyme. Okay, all substrates cannot go and fix to any of the enzymes. We know that we have many enzymes. Okay, so each enzyme will have specific substrate. Ab substrate hai, it cannot go and fix to whichever enzyme it wants. It will only fix. Like here, you are in this college, we have many classes, but you are of BPC first year, so you will come only and sit in your BPC first year class only in order. So now you won't go to this MPC, you won't go to CC. Okay, you will be coming into BPC and that too in the first year only you will be sitting. Then if you are a first year student, you cannot go and sit in second year, it is just waste. Sitting there is a waste. So here you will come only in your first year or you will come only in your second year botany class. So here in the sense the substrates will be different, they will be specific for a specific enzyme. Okay, so this is how the enzyme works. This is how the enzyme works. What it will do? It will provide the space or it will provide the site for these substrates to attach each other, and when they attach each other, that is when they come and bind with the enzyme, they make the bonds. So when these bonds are formed between two substances, a new product will be formed. So this is the new product. Earlier there was separated, now they are joined together by a bond. So this is the product. It was attached to the enzyme here. Now later on, as soon as this product is formed, this is enzyme substrate complex. As soon as this complex is formed, this bond is formed, now the enzyme is separated from this complex. So now this becomes the product and the enzyme will leave, then again go and search the other substrates. So this is one mechanism by which the enzymes will work. So we call it as lock and key mechanism. Okay, now another type of mechanism is also there based on which the enzyme will work. That is induced fit mechanism. This induced fit mechanism, it was discovered by the scientist Koshland. Induced fit mechanism is discovered by the scientist Koshland. Okay, so according to this one, now when we see that it is according to this, an enzyme will have two active sites. An enzyme will have two active sites. Here we have given this type of structure to the enzyme. Now for us, let us give us the another, that is some different structure. Okay, so this is the structure of enzyme. Okay, according to this mechanism, this is the structure of enzyme, and each enzyme will have two active sites. Okay, two active sites. So the first active site is called as the catalytic site and the second is called as the buttressing site. According to the induced fit mechanism, each enzyme will have two sites. Each enzyme will have two sites. The one is the catalytic site and the second is the buttressing site. Okay, what is the function of catalytic site? It will help to break the old bonds or it will help to make the new bonds. That is, it can make or break the bonds. This site help in the making or breaking of the bonds. Okay. Now here coming to this, the next site, that is the buttressing site. Okay. So now this is the site where the substrates are going to come and attach. This is the site where the substrates are going to come and attach. Okay. So it is for the attachment of reactants, or we can even call them as substrates or reactants. So this is the place where they come and that is attach itself to the enzyme, and the catalytic site will help in the making or breaking of the bonds between them. So now let us see how it works. What is the mechanism? So this is the structure of enzyme, a different structure. Now we said that it has two active sites. Now let us say this is one active site and this is another site on the enzyme. So this site is your buttressing site. Okay. This site, I will write here. This is your buttressing site. This is your buttressing site and this is your catalytic site. Okay. Now we have substrates. We have substrates. Let us say this one. This is one substrate and this is another substrate. This is one substrate and this is another substrate. Two substrates are there. Okay. These substrates, or we can even call them as substrates or reactants. Substrates or reactants. So what will happen? So these substrates will come and attach to the here. What is the buttressing site? It is for attachment of reactants. So these reactants will come and attach on the buttressing site. So here this is your one substrate, this is here another substrate. These two substrates come and attaches itself on the buttressing site. On this buttressing site, this substrate has came and attached itself. Now what will happen? These in between them, for this product to be formed, in between them bond has to be made. In between them a bond has to be made. So who will make or break the bonds? This catalytic site. This catalytic site will help in the making of bond. So what will happen? How it will help? What happens is, as soon as the substrate is binded to the at the buttressing site. So what happens as soon as it binds now, and something is triggered in the enzyme which will help this substrates to fit. As soon as the substrate comes and binds itself together, binds itself on the buttressing site. So as soon as they binds now, something is triggered in the enzyme. Something is triggered in the enzyme. So which will, after this trigger, what will happen? So here this buttressing site, this enzyme will fit itself. This enzyme will fit in this sense that what happens is, these were the substrates now, they have attached here. Now I am removing this one. Okay. So now change, something happens as soon as they attaches itself on the buttressing site, something triggers in the enzyme which makes the enzyme change the shape. Something triggers in the enzyme which makes the enzyme change the shape. Okay, so as soon as it gets attached, it triggers and change the shape. How it changes the shape? So earlier it was this na. So what happens now? It will, I'll draw with blue only. So that this is your reactant. This is your reactant 1. This is your reactant 2. As soon as this reactants or substrates comes and attaches itself to the buttressing site, something is triggered inside the enzyme which makes the enzyme change its shape, so that both the substrate fixes inside it. Both the substrate fixes inside it. Now here comes now this catalytic site is near this 2 substrates. So what will happen? So it will help these substrate, this catalytic site, it is helping in the making or breaking of the bonds na. So what happens? It helps these 2 substrates in making the bond. It fixes itself on this it fixes itself near this substrate, that it helps in the making of bond between them. So now here a bond is formed between them. So this bond is nothing but enzyme. This is nothing but enzyme substrate complex. This is nothing but enzyme substrate complex. Okay, complexes form. Now bond is formed. A product has been, a complex between enzyme and substrate has been formed. So now this has to be, enzyme has to be removed from this product. Okay, enzyme has to be removed and we have to get the product. So as soon as this bonds are made now, so then again what happens? It moves, becomes like this. What we get is this one with a bond. Okay, now enzyme will get separated, and we get the product. We get the product with the bond. This is only transitional, it will be only for a certain period. So now until it forms, as soon as it forms, now after it forms the enzyme substrate complex, now enzyme has to be separated from the product. So enzyme substrate complex has to be dissolved. So here enzyme will get separated and this product will be formed. So this is how the enzyme are fitting itself. It is induced. This fitting of enzyme, this is induced. How it is induced? As soon as this substrate comes and attached to this buttressing site, something is induced, something is triggered which makes the enzyme to change the shape so that it fixes itself. Okay, something is fixes. So what does the inducing means? This coming and attaching of the substrate on the enzymes is the inducing. So as soon as it induces, that is as soon as they are attached, something triggers and the enzyme changes shape so that it can fix. Okay, so that it can fix and make the bonds. So this is how what is called as induced fit mechanism. So here by these are the two mechanisms. These are the two mechanisms which are helpful in the enzymes to work. So these are the two mechanisms of enzyme action. So any of these two, but most of the scientists, they favor this lock and key mechanism. So in this lock and key mechanism, there are specific substrates for specific enzymes. Those specific substrates will go and bind to the specific enzymes only. Okay, so specific lock for a specific key. So, specific enzyme for specific substrates. So, here most of the scientists they go for this lock and key mechanism, but we have two mechanisms, that is lock and key mechanism which is given by Fischer, and we have this induced fit mechanism in which it says that an enzyme has two sites, okay, buttressing site and catalytic site. Buttressing site is for the attachment of the reactants and catalytic site helps in the formation or breaking of bonds. Formation of breaking of bonds. So, here we have shown that bond is formed. In the similar manner, it can even break the bonds. It can even break the bonds between them and make two products. From one single substrate, two products can be formed by the breaking of the bonds. So, making and breaking of bonds is done by catalytic site, and buttressing site helps in the attachment of substrates. So, as soon as the substrates are attached to the enzyme, so it fixes, the enzyme changes its shape, conformation, and the enzyme undergoes conformation, that is changes in the shape, and because of which the bonds and that is catalytic site comes near this substrates and helps in the formation or breaking of bonds. So, these are the two basic mechanisms. In the next class, we will see the factors which helps, basic factors for the enzymes.